I was really impressed how he was talking about going and getting his blood test and figuring out sort of where he came from in his heritage. And I really grabbed onto the word that he was using. I'm probably going to say it wrong. Is it jintong? Jintong. So this idea of identity, right? So for me, before I wrote this book, I was inspired by my family here, my in-laws. I got married with Steve, and his family was telling me about the history of Taiwan and about 228 massacre, which I had never even heard about before that time. So I think it was the idea of not knowing this big event that's happened and not understanding really just what the history of Taiwan is and the culture of it was what really forced me to think about, well, let me struggle with this idea of identity and what does it mean to have this historical event that I don't know about and that maybe many people don't know about, either here or even, I guess, in Taiwan as well. So in my book, I ended up writing, there's actually 4 perspectives in this book. So one of the perspectives is the grandmother, and she's there and she's trying to keep her identity, and I think the way she feels like she wants to do it is she's going to teach, that one way, she's going to teach the language to like the kids and the grandkids, right? And so that's her focus. And even though she shies away from sort of what has happened in the history of Taiwan, and she doesn't pass that on, she's focusing on the language. Then the second generation after that, the mother in the story, she's American born, and so her identity is kind of shifting, like who am I? So for her, she decides to shift to sort of the American identity, right? And she embraces everything that the U.S. has given her or gives her. Then there's the third generation, which is the granddaughter. And for her, she's also straddling between the two worlds, and she's trying to figure out, how do I know who I am? And she's the one who's out there. She's tracing her roots. She's keeping this notebook about who her ancestors are, and just kind of figuring out the lineage and figuring out her genealogy. And then the fourth perspective in the book comes from this outside mainland Chinese person who's actually born in the States too. But he kind of has to shift his viewpoint of who he is based on what the Taiwanese American family is saying to him. Like now he's getting a better picture of like who am I? How am I viewed as someone who's mainland Chinese from heritage? And I think it's just these struggles with who we are and how we identify ourselves. That's the key running theme in my book. And I think that I really think that this is kind of what we struggle with as individuals as well. I know, especially, for myself being born in America, it's the struggle of, multiple identities, right? And then now being married to Steve, it's even more identity. And so I think that the way we view ourselves, like the way that Mr. O was saying when he, kind of looked at what is his lineage, and that kind of played a role into also the storyline in The Reborn, where there's the main character who kind of thinks one way and then he finds something else and then he sort of thinks another way. So that's the way I feel like we identify ourselves, and we struggle through this. And part of what happens is once we embrace our identity, I think that changes the way we are, and it changes the way we interact with people around us. So once we tell ourselves who we are, we tell other people who we are, and we place importance on certain things. So for example, I feel like the big thing about like embracing identity is like in the Taiwanese heritage, is this idea of history and, you know, where do we come from? And I think once we fully embrace identity, then as Taiwanese, then it's like, okay, well, this is really important, and this is what we also need to share and what we need to talk about. And just like I said earlier, we need to remember history. It makes us who we are, and it helps us to change the world, right? It helps us to keep the memory alive, keep things from happening again, and really to pay honor to, you know, like people who perished, and those things are so important. So I guess that's my main thing, is about really identifying, finding identity, embracing that, and being able to use that to sort of educate the people around us.
Good. Thank you.
For you, you sit here and you sit over there, and now you have a chance to dialogue between us, two of you.
I'm very interested. How come you are interested in the history event in Taiwan in 70 years ago?
I think it was because when I went to Taiwan and actually saw the different places and had the family listen to the family stories, it really affected me, because it wasn't just something that happened in the past, it's kind of still ongoing. I think that's the thing that people sometimes don't realize in history. Think, oh, okay, well, it happened, you know, in the 40s, 1940s, so we can just move on and forget about it. I think once something happens, there's really that effect that comes across, you know, decades and years. I mean, even now, there's repercussions, right, in Taiwan that you can see. You think it's history, but it's really still happening and important.
So you write after you visit Taiwan? Yeah. And I have read your novel, and I'm quite I like how the way you tell the story. Yeah, four main roles, and they tell the story of themselves. Yeah, how come you tell the story in this way?
I think part of it was I wanted to get the different perspectives, because I feel like when you have different generations, they sort of see things differently. And it's important to get the view from the grandmother will be totally different from the granddaughter, even if it's the same thing. So I wanted to get behind that. And then I also wanted to see that these things do affect more than one person, more than just the person it happened to. So the grandmother in this case, it happened to her, but it really affects the whole family. So I think that was another reason. And of course, the outside perspective of Jack is so that he can kind of bring a different mirror to what's happening.
Maybe the trigger.
Yeah, and it can be a trigger for bringing up these memories or these issues that are in the family, but sort of hidden until they find out. Should I ask you a question?
Ask question in turns.
If I can understand.
The reborn, look at this. Like, epic. It's a very big poem. So I was just curious, how it took you, did you say 5 years to write? So can you talk more about the writing process? You said 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Your writing process.
Writing process.
How, I mean, you put a lot of work, so just talk about sort of the background behind it, what inspired you, and how you took on that big task.
Yeah. Just a bad dream. 5 years. Okay. And I have a normal job. I can just do that I'm off from my office in the evening. And I have told Simon these days, and that is a thing about discipline. To sit before your desk and write for hours a day, and no matter what happens. So day and night, and every day. So after I decided to write this story, and in the beginning I think that's a small novel about 10,000, about 100,000 words, and I cannot imagine it's with about 500 pages, and it's a very hard job for me to continuously focus on the story, and I can even remember when my birthday was. Yeah, and some important things in our usual life. But I think that it's not a romantic process. It's a process of discipline to force myself on the desk and open the computer and to read the progress that I written down yesterday, and delete it and rewrite it. Yeah, that's it. And because there's many information I need to find out, so almost takes about 2 or 3 years during these 5 years, and maybe very recently. So I think that's really a dream for me, because my wife almost helped me to write this novel. Yes. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I'm curious, how did you get the idea for your character and all the stuff that he goes on? Was there what was the inspiration?
The inspiration. Excuse me.
What was the inspiration?
你啥物互你有这款的创作的创意？动机啊！
Yeah.
你灵感在对啥？
It's the same question about Wuxia. Yeah, and I didn't like to be a Chinese. Totally. That I even wish that my blood never without any element of China. Yeah. To say no to China. And to say no to the story they give us. So they told us that we are from China. I don't think so. Because originally on the land of Taiwan, there are many people live here. So that caused me to think that who really are we, and how we can think about our heritage, about Taiwanese. Yeah. So, and an image come to my mind. A face of a man, face of a man with box on his face. It's like a 诅咒那样，诅咒那样。Curse, like curse of Taiwanese. So my story starts with the image of the face. I think that all the Taiwanese has a curse. It's a curse of Chinese, Chinese culture, Chinese education, Chinese rulers, Chinese politics, Chinese everything. So I think that's a curse on our face. And I start from the face and expand the face to the whole story in my dream. Yeah, that's how I'm taking the story. And
You can speak a little louder so that people can hear you. Okay, people you move up a little. Can you
Is that
hear?
okay?
Okay.
Another question? Or?
I have many questions, but yeah.
I'm curious about how we think the way to face disaster in order to struggle in our usual life. I think that you are very considerate about how we can struggle our life and very details to express, to show that how we can do with the troubles. And many the different kinds of the rules in your novel seems to have different sentence patterns. Is that your plan or is naturally? No, that's my question.
No. It was unplanned, but I think when I write from different perspectives, I kind of hear them talking, so the thoughts that they have are different and voiced differently, so maybe when it comes out,
Oh yeah.
it just ends up with different sentence patterns.
Sentence patterns, different things come from every thing.
Yeah, because I think the way a child would see something is very different than an adult. So I think what they see and how they focus, what things are important to them, are different and reveals different things about who they are.
Yeah, I think it's very good for you to to separate the different characteristics of different groups. It's very successful. Yeah.
So I have, you know, but you were talking about the other book that you wrote, the one with the 228.
Oh, yeah.
So do you feel like after you published that, you had a lot of response from people who were thankful or grateful or appreciative that you were able to share about that?
And I think that after I published that, the literature guys in Taiwan think that it's an important work, especially in Kaohsiung. Because that I describe the story in detail and how they are, who they were, what's the weather. It's cold that day and then raining. I found out the information, and so they think that there's some important story, and then they have a story. And last year before I sang 大学总的 sunflower movement. I give a speech to the young friends, and they are very touched. And I told them that the 228 real success if we have Facebook then. And 1 month later, the sunflower movement. Yeah. So I think that we will put something in, give something to people if we write. I believe so.
Okay, we you can exchange one more question, and we are going to open to the public.
Okay.
For those who have read the book, they have the right to ask first.
And my another question is that how